Hello and welcome back to my review of the Master Grade 1 to 100 scale Wing Gundam TV version. In this part of the review, we'll be going over the basic mobile suit itself and the posability of it. And this Gundam is simple as plugging all the limbs together, and this should be the final result. Here is the Master Grade Wing Gundam all put together, and one of the biggest changes I've seen from this Master Grade from the 100 old high grade is the fact that everything seems to be sleeked down. And one of the most iconic things from the anime about this Gundam is the very large legs, and this has been sleeked down to be more fitting and proportional. And here is the regular spin around of the Master Grade Wing Gundam, and you can really see that the inner frame and some of the detailed parts is not black but rather a very shiny gunmetal. So overall, a very nice Gundam. However, some parts, like the wings and the shoulders, have to have a bit of black lining in order to get the articulation of this model kit, which, as you have seen from the parts video, should be superb and is unlimited by its design. Now, for the purpose of the articulation section, I'm going to bend the wings back, so the arms and upper body doesn't get out of the way, but let's do the wings first. The wings you saw in the parts video will get out a long way, with this white part spreading to make it look less empty, as well as be able to go up thanks to the slide mechanism and go up almost 90 degrees to the waist section. It goes out fairly well, and of course is on a poly cap, so it can theoretically do a 360 degrees. However, because of the other wings, that is a bit useless. Now onto the upper body, where we start with the head, which is on, as demonstrated in the box, a very special neck mechanism which allows it to look up a ridiculous amount for more iconic wing Vulcan poses. The wing's head can go 360, however, because I top coated it, the neck joint is a bit stiff and is a bit harder to rotate. The shoulders, as you can see, can pull out quite a bit, and without parts falling off, can almost reach across to touch the other shoulder. Now the arms themselves, after you bend the claws down, can get roughly a 135. However, this is not as much as the model kit design as it is the actual mobile suit design. Now onto the actual waist itself, where the double ball joint mechanism allows it to bend forward and backwards an impressive amount, as well as rock off side to side. Now, moving on to the lower body, where we get into the waist section. As you saw in the parts video, all of these skirts move up 90 degrees, so it is very free in the legs, and the legs can go up about that much, and it can start to bend with a very nice 180, and the pels can bend out for more aerial poses, as well as the transformation. And the legs, in terms of going off to the side, should have no problem. It can achieve more than just a full split. Now down onto the actual legs, as you can see, it can move off to the side a fairly impressive amount. It has some nice details on the bottom, and as you saw, the toe can go down for the transformation. So overall, a very superbly articulated its Universal Century counterpart Gundams. The Gundams of Gundam Wing is known for having a very set of weapons. So let's get this guy weaponized. First up is the Wing Gundam's infamous weapon, the Buster Rifle. And so in order to arm it, you just take the right manipulator, and you will see the manipulator has a peg in it, and the Buster Rifle handle has a hole in it. So you can just logically plug it in, and it fits in pretty well. And then just plug the manipulator into the hands. You will notice that there is, of course, a weight issue problem. However, the geniuses at Bandai have managed to have a lock mechanism with a claw. So as soon as you latch the claw in, you can see no more problems. Simply pull down all of the mechanisms and pivot this into place, and then you will notice that there is a hook and lock mechanism which should slide into the back of the hands and arms. And it might take a bit of fiddling, but eventually you should get some kind of result. And though it may take a while to put all the weapons in the hands, you can't deny that with the weapons on, Wing Gundam definitely looks a lot more filled out. And with the classic shield, beam saber, and Buster Rifle armaments, a lot more worthy of the title main lead. His looks may be all win, however, how's his posability and stability? Well, from the looks of it, the standard look down the barrel of the rifle has no problem whatsoever. And even though it does look like his arm is slouching a tiny bit, that is actually done on purpose, so I can do this shot. Looks pretty cool. Bringing the Buster Rifle across and having the shield up may cause a bit more problems with the shield. However, once you stabilize it, it does look pretty cool, and you can definitely recreate some iconic shots. And with the help of an action base and a very, very ghetto tripod, you can create famous scenes like this from episode 1 of Gundam Wing, with the Wing Gundam shooting up towards the sky at Zex and his 2 Leos. Well, of course, Wing Gundam doesn't need to be shooting his Buster Rifle to look very cool and dynamic. So honestly, Buster Rifle forward, wings fully extended, knees bent at a dynamic angle is how the Wing Gundam should be posed. And while it can be a bit difficult, you can pose it like the iconic title screen that appeared with the Wing Gundam even long after it lost its title. It does seem like giving a lot of attention to the Buster Rifle. Don't worry, Beam Sabers. Of course, to change the focus from the Buster Rifle to the Beam Saber, you have to get the Beam Saber out first. And this Master Grid, just like the anime, has the Beam Saber stored inside the shield. And as you can see, it pops up. And one of the great things I like about it, if you look at it from the side, it actually does look as if the Beam Saber is popping out. So, pulling out the Beam Saber requires a bit of fingernails and a few dropping parts. But after that, you can simply attach the clear beam effect parts, which they generously give you 2 of, to the Beam Saber handle, and then you can simply swap out the manipulators and get it into the exactly right hand. But you can recreate the infamously recycled scene of Hero throwing away the Buster Rifle and reaching for the shield. The Beam Saber has no problem whatsoever being held in the hand, and that is excellently represented right here as the Wing Gundam just finished transforming. All that's missing is a green light. While Wing Gundam didn't exactly have a lot of time up in the air with the Beam Saber, it still has no problem looking very dynamic and powerful with just the Beam Saber. You really can pull off some very dynamic aerial poses with the Beam Saber in hand. When Hero is holding out the shield first as opposed to the Beam Saber, that there can be only one person that's charging at him. Unfortunately, we won't really get him until January. And he'll be battling him in an alternate dimension. It does take a lot more effort and time. You can have the Master Grade Wing Gundam on the ground with the Beam Saber in a very okay, guys, that's going to wrap up the second part of my review of the Master Grade 1 to 100 scale Wing Gundam TV version. And in this part of the review, we covered the articulation of this Master Grade, as well as checking it out with its weapons. And so far, I have to say, I am really liking this kit, both with the Buster Rifle and with the Beam Saber. So, I'll see you next time for the rest of this review, and hopefully have it done before the big release comes in. And now, another word from our sponsor. With articulation looks like that, the sky's the limit. The sky? Well, I guess space is the limit in this case. It's only space? Well, for you, I guess it'd be the tall geese then. What about the tall geese? Well, what about the self-detonate button? I survived that too, you know, like a true Gundam. Well, then, how about Libra? What's the Libra? Spoiler!